PV Sindhu? You don't look like PV Sindhu. Oh.
I actually considered PV Sindhu for a second. Newsflash, our producer is an athlete. Career going nowhere, producing podcasts.
Okay, hey, it's Varta Lab. I am Aakash, and this is that is you can't see.
Oh, we're rolling out?
Yeah.
WTF, dude?
This is the most common response we get from all our guests. कि ये शुरू कब होता है और खत्म कब होता है?
This is a very Mark Maron thing to do. I'm very proud of you guys. You just start rolling and then like
very unintentionally.
Yeah. Except we don't sell stamps vehemently. Mark Maron is always selling stamps or something.
We just do them.
Yeah.
All right, Varta Lab, season 4, episode whatever. We have Krao today. Krao,
what's up?
Krao is what we call him lovingly and hatefully. Kunal Rao is his full name. Former EIC member, full-time touring comedian, and also now a podcast circuit enthusiast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now working
the. I literally have been on 2 podcasts in my life, including my own. Guys, I have a podcast.
But I have such a big blunt to pick with you first of all.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
You know exactly where this is going.
I also know exactly what this is.
Because we were on a Geek Fruit quiz, okay?
Yeah.
Twice I've been on these quizzes, okay? Where I've gone to the finale of everything, okay?
Yeah.
I lose out in the finale, but like I put up a very good front.
Yeah.
All my nerd knowledge has been put to use beautifully throughout these. Like it's all a Slumdog Millionaire for me, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, I remember this from my connection and that. And then they never came out. Explain yourself.
Okay, so let me tell you the story.
He's on board with the idea.
Okay, so the thing is, like, I had this idea for a quiz way back. Like, I want to talk about, like, EIC days. But obviously in EIC, none of my ideas were supported. So I was like, let me try and figure out how to do this.
That's what was wrong with that organization.
Exactly. Not Saurabh's megalomaniac behavior.
So then I was like, hey, I think I'm going to do this quiz. It's a very simple premise. It's a pop culture quiz. It's going to be fun. Mostly movies. Of course, we will add music and blah, 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 everything else.
Yeah.
But that was the idea. And then I was like, hey, man, I need somebody to help me come up with questions. And then I just like scrolling through my phone. I'm like, oh my God, Dinkar Dwivedi. Yes, of course.
Yeah, ready-made nerds you have.
Made 2 phone calls to these guys. I think Tejas was in Africa at the time, but I spoke to Dinkar and I spoke to Jishnu. And they're like, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's do it. We had like 3-4 meetings. I met Dinkar at a cafe coffee day at this place. What's it called? Santa Cruz on SV Road.
Wow, people still go to cafe coffee days.
It was a thing. This is pre-lockdown, right? This is 2019.
Right.
Right before the guy died.
Right.
Wait, just when we recorded your episode and it still hasn't come out.
Yeah, exactly. See, pre-pandemic and how much I've learned in the time.
So then
when I met Dinkar, I'm like, yeah, this is a great idea. So like, okay, these are the rounds that I have as an idea, and then they pitch some ideas, blah blah. We said, let's do it. Let's just do an episode.
Boom.
And we booked Habitat. I remember the date, 21st September 2019. We recorded it at Habitat. Obviously, nothing happened with it. I think we got P-Man, we got Jishnu. So at that time, I was hosting. Tejas and Jishnu were the guessers,
Right.
and they had a teammate each. So they had like, I think it was Nivedita, P-Man, and a few others, whatever. It was 3 teams. So we did that whole thing, and it was fun. Like we had like hardcore Geek Fruit fans come for the episode. We recorded
3 out of those 4 people have been on a podcast as well.
I'm sure there's
Tejas, Nivedita, and Nivedita has not been yet, no?
Jishnu? P-Man has.
Nivedita has actually.
Yeah, dude, the time when you were late and her and I hosted the first half.
Oh wow, yeah, correct. Oh shit.
Nivedita makes a great host, by the way.
She's amazing. So then what happened?
So then we made the thing, and then we were like, okay, let's do another episode.
Yeah.
So from September 21st, it took us obviously 5 more months to figure out a second episode. So we then recorded again at Habitat, 21st Feb or something like that. And again we recorded and we didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And then lockdown hit.
Yeah.
Right. So then Dinkar calls me. He's like, dude, like 2-3 weeks into lockdown, Dinkar called me. He's like, man, this is the right time to do the quiz. I was like, yeah, shut up, man. I want to sleep.
Yeah.
This is the one time that I get to do to catch up on like all the things that I couldn't do earlier.
That's how you looked at the lockdown?
That's literally how actually, the thing with the lockdown is that I 3 weeks into the lockdown, I was all by myself. I'm just like, I mean, at my parents' place, but like eating home food and just loving life. And I was like, oh my God, is this what happiness is?
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's when I discovered that I'm an introvert and I'm like, oh, I don't have to meet people all the time.
Yeah, you don't.
The
This was a
joy
Hallmark
was
movie moment. Like you went
tremendous,
back
man.
home. This Christmas, Kunal Rao, lost in the comedy scene, comes home. You know, the voiceover they have, will he find acceptance? Or will
You know
he
how
find
people go
peace?
for like an 11-day Vipassana to recover
Yeah.
from... like
Yeah, like
lockdown
him.
for me was that.
Yeah, exhibit A right here.
I think I recovered from all my traumas in the first lockdown.
Yeah.
But that's very interesting that you mentioned that, because I did not meet my parents for 4 months because
Hmm.
I was sequestered in my apartment in car where depression took over immediately almost, because my partner flew out like literally on the last flight out of Bombay to Gujarat because grandmom was very sick, and he was like, I'll be back in a week.
Yeah.
And whoever said that line had just such a big faux pas moment, because like everything was like pushed 3 months behind,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I was alone. And finally, when Abhi came back after 3.5 months, I was like, okay, now you stay with the cats. I have to go see my parents because I have not seen them either.
Right.
I've just been video calling or whatever. And our area was better off, Khar was better off, but Bhayandar where they live was fuck all. Like, you know,
Hmm.
like so bad, like the markets were not open. People were doing like fucking, back channeling of potatoes inside buildings. हाँ, buildings के अंदर जाके वो लोग ऐसा बाजू में left ले लो, वहाँ पे गोनी रहेगा, that guy selling. So that's what they were doing, okay?
Ah.
So I was very like worried about them. So I went there, and again because I was as soon as I went into Bhayandar, a lockdown was initiated across the Thane area.
Sweet.
So again, I'm sequestered with them for 15 days. Okay, I'm like, now I fucking hate this
Hmm.
because I'm running out of pot also soon, and I have to be with them around. And my only friend was this guy who came back home after he lost his job right before pandemic. Okay, Rickson karke. So we would take walks and everything, and one day come back home, and I just left a job again, like a agency job.
I like that he said, I left a job again.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
my parents have seen me like not succeed at like various careers, right? So this was an agency job which I just let go in 2 months. So when I came home, I had money, but I was jobless. So I was just like doing Velagiri again. And my mom's like, if you go out, cops will beat you up and all. I'm like, I'm going out. I come back home one day, and these two
So
are
cops didn't beat you?
no.
Okay.
I don't know that. I would have been
Hmm.
happier about that. But but then I come home, and my mom and dad are fully like gossiping about me. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Just like they have no idea that, like, because I grew up in that house, I know how to open the gate with my hand and then latch खोल के मैं अंदर
हाँ.
जाता था. Like it's like a inbuilt mechanism, right? So they didn't register the fact that I'm inside the house behind them,
Right.
listening to everything they're talking about me. And that led to like me just like, because I'm like, whatever I do is not enough for them and all that. Like all that came to the fore.
Yeah, obviously, you're an
Yeah.
Indian child. Why
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
you ever be good enough
So
for them?
then that led to full confrontation, okay, where like all this built up bullshit that we had kind of like,
oh,
kept up.
wow.
And we had nowhere to go. So like we're just like
Yeah,
three of us
yeah.
locked in that house,
Wow.
now confronting each other, okay? And like one of those things where, like, like where you see that neighbors are fighting and people peep कि क्या हो रहा है.
Right.
Yeah.
We had never had one of those moments in our house because we
Yeah.
always like
You were the neighbors.
yeah, we were the neighbors that night. My father's pulling the curtains, my mom's like खिड़की बंद करो, and that was happening. And but
Wow,
good
you
thing,
had a very different lockdown experience
Exactly.
with your family.
but
than I
but
did.
good thing as it like after that entire thing was done, after all the bile came out, everything toxicity was built up, was out.
Yeah.
There was like a sense of calm.
Yeah.
Then it
Yeah.
was just like
You know, this reminds me of that scene from Dil Dhadakne Do, where like Ranveer Singh keeps saying like, ये family में कोई जो ऊपर से ही बात करता है, अंदर को main जो है कोई बात ही नहीं करता है. And I think
Ah.
this is like the most Indian family thing ever.
quintessential. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
once you have that one big confrontation and everything is out on the table, everything is kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, at least there's no hidden shit.
Yeah, I feel you. I had similar things in my marriage where there were a lot of fights like this, where it's like, why can't you just? And there's like, why can't you just? And
Yep.
so on and so forth. And it's like, but what I also feel is, what's built till then is released, and then it's not like
Then
कि-
it's rebuilding. Then you're
now
starting
now it's ऐसा नहीं कि
a
वो
new-
channel खुल गया, अभी वो खुला रहेगा.
a new layer of
हाँ.
calcification.
अभी
Yeah.
पूरा वापस
Your
टीम बिल्ड
nerves.
होएगा. अभी next 10 साल के बाद फिर से
Yeah,
फटेंगे
there's
सब
phases
लोग.
to it, right? Like you
Yeah.
have to, like, as you're growing, like your parents are growing, and
Yeah.
there's like a middle ground.
It's so crazy, man. Like I don't know a single person who hasn't had a game-changing lockdown experience. Like it could be positive or negative, but it is game-changing.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like people just all that shit that has been like, it's either addressed or it was noticed for the first time or it was whatever. Like for me, I got way closer to my parents during the lockdown because I was locked with them and I couldn't. Like do anything, and I was like, okay, I might as well like them for the next 6 months,
Yeah.
rather than making my life more difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Stockholm syndrome takes over.
So in the lockdown, we decided to do season 2 of the quiz.
Yeah.
A story that I'm coming back
Yeah,
to. I'm
thorough
not
line.
like-
You're a
This
professional,
is the
yeah.
I'm
this
not
is the
gonna
central
finish this.
narrative of this episode.
Yeah.
Yes, just me doing quiz questions. No, and I was like, I don't want to do this whole online and it sucks and blah blah blah. And then I saw everybody was doing online quizzes, so I was like, okay, I better do the online quiz. We
Yeah.
did one season where we just random people here and there, and then we just sat on it. We didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Then we said, oh god, let's do another season, which is like the one that you guys were on, which is the competition and all that stuff, and you guys did
There was
reasonably well.
a tournament map.
The only thing was that I think all of us, between Geek Fruit and me, we just kind of like gave up on life after a point. We're like, what is the point of anything? Everybody's doing better than we are, so why we even bother releasing these things? Blah,
Right.
blah. We just sat on it, and honestly, just nobody was taking an initiative. And then finally,
Mm.
in October last year, when we finished season 2, I hired an editor.
Okay.
And I gave it to him, and it has taken him 1 year
Yeah.
to edit.
Yeah.
8 episodes.
Very
And I'm
nice.
proud to say that I have all 8 episodes at
Edited.
95% edited. We need to do one run through and add like the openings and closings.
Right.
And we are actually going to release
Wow.
episodes of this quiz
Next to next year.
in a couple of years. Yes,
Another
maybe.
year for the last 5%. But I am so glad because you
2
mentioned this to
years.
me, but I wanted to confront it in front of people.
Ah.
so-
Yeah, it's happening, and we're very excited. And if it does well and people like it, we might actually do a live version.
Yeah,
of
my
it.
favorite,
Great.
like, not to spoil the episodes when they come out, but my favorite memory was 4 Bombay boys discussing where the first McDonald's was.
Oh
opened in
yeah,
Bombay.
dude.
We're releasing that as a separate clip.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
was
It's
just like
such
a
good.
10-minute like a debate,
It
and
was more.
everybody
It was 18 minutes.
Oh,
It was 18 minutes.
oh shit! Yeah, we just like so you have to watch out for that. It's amazing.
It's great fun.
Yeah.
We took bets and
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And it's so interesting how memory works, dude, because you're convinced that this is what, like, you remember, your brain पीछे से manufactures shit around that place, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
That it's not even real. It's like the 9/11 experiment. Remember where they ask kids where were you or during 9/11, like a week after, and then they ask them 6 years after,
Yeah.
and their whole fucking memory was different
It's-
only,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah, because memory is not. It's not absolute, right? It was basically defined. It was Jordan Peterson, who I would like to quote.
He's a big
said-
Jordan Peterson. He told me this on a train, so I didn't have anywhere to go.
Oh shit! I have a story like that after this.
But Jordan Peterson said his belief is that memory is not meant to be. It's not an absolute thing. It's not like a hard.
Yeah, that's why we have data.
Yeah, exactly. It's memory is actually, it exists so that you don't make the same mistakes again. So actually, the main objective of memory is emotional memory. It is to understand fears and hopes, like things you should go towards and go against.
Wow.
And that's basically it. That's the only role.
Yeah. You know,
I quote John Peterson very loosely and probably incorrectly.
Let me quote Andrew Tate and say, women. No, but like recently I was
I was hoping you'd finish it.
no, women are of no interest to me. I'm a homosexual. No, but recently I was talking about being homosexual. I was on Grindr recently, and this person messaged me. Okay, it's like fairly like fits in my zone of like kind of people I like, generally cute, whatever. And then he mentions the 4 words I hate, 4 letters rather I hate more than life itself. PETA. He's a member of PETA. Okay?
Peter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Who is?
This boy I was talking
Okay.
to, like,
You know
flirting
what
with him.
Grinder is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I just I think my mind
Went to the kitchen?
subconsciously deleted that word from his sentence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this boy, whatever, was talking to me, and like I was so, like I knew this was not going to like work out now. But then
Yeah.
like, how much can I just like push it?
Yeah.
What did we lose?
We
Nothing.
lost a light.
See, this is what happens when you talk about Peter.
Yeah, they fucking did come for you. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Bill baro yaar IVM baro. But
This is your
but
enlightening
like
moment.
yeah, so and I was like the classic case of like, hey, I'm also an animal lover or whatever. I have
Yeah.
4 cats at home. And then the argument eventually ends with like, would you eat your cats? Then I'm like, now I've made my
Would
point.
you eat your cat?
Like, how can you
did
love
you
some
not
animals?
think of replying with, but that's what we did with the first one?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, there's
It's
so
okay
much
to eat the
potential.
cat
Yeah.
if it had already died before.
Yeah.
Then it's
Yeah,
fine.
dude,
but-
that guy on my old building, that first floor uncle, I really thought he was breeding them, dude, because like he would like,
Madness, yeah.
there would always be the same amount of cats in the building, you know what I mean? So where is the top half going? Like, you know, I think it's
The
very
top
shady.
half of what?
The cat population, bro. Like if there's cats, okay, and you keep feeding the cats indiscriminately, okay,
Yes.
Without chopping the balls.
yeah, then
Oh,
they keep
okay.
having sex.
Correct.
So then the population increases, right? So
Correct.
at some point you should go from having 10 cats to say 30 cats. But it never got to 30. It would stay at 15.
Yeah.
Oh.
What
So
was
where
happening?
are
Maybe
the
the other cats just moved to a better accommodation.
maybe?
If you know cats, they don't do that. Like if
Yeah.
you're getting free
They-
food
Oh,
every day
is
from
it?
a man, they'd rather stay there.
So like
But now the building is coming down. Like,
yeah, the building is coming
going
down
into redevelopment. So
at
I'm worried
last.
where the cats will go.
They'll
Hey,
find
speaking of
places.
Grindr, somebody told me,
Hmm.
I was talking to my ex manager at OML, one of the first few managers.
You have to go to
And
sex man.
I met her. I met her like 2 years later at some random
Veena?
party. No, even
Oh, yeah.
before Veena. This is 2013, 14.
The way you said
Way
Veena.
before.
You're like, yeah,
ना घर अपनी वीणा अपनी तो
Veena, though I met at your wedding party
Ah.
only after a long time. No, so I met this manager and she was telling me that Kunal, I don't know whether I should tell you this, but I think somebody's using your face on Grindr.
Oh shit. Nice.
And I was like, can I see it?
Hmm.
And she opened it up and then she was looking for like the thing and she couldn't find it.
Hmm.
Appropriately so.
Was she on Grindr?
Have you seen me on Grindr?
No. But you wouldn't be in my filter range also.
Why?
Because I look for like chonks, bears,
what is-
daddies.
Okay,
big-
I don't know
bigger
any
boys.
of these slang words.
That's okay. So you should be on
Explain to
Grindr.
me.
yeah.
Explain.
So bear.
Someday you will explain them
So
to me.
let me, for the entire world
Yeah,
actually.
this is a
like
good breakdown.
Yeah, I've been told a lot of my friends.
This is the reel we need.
Yeah, there's an entire.
Real explainers.
Yeah, so
I
so
love it.
we as gays have collectively taken over the animal kingdom and decided to name every one of our body types into animal categories. Okay, so there's like the bears, who are the furry ones, chubby ones. There's the cubs, who are the younger, chubby, furry ones. Then there's the otters, who are thin and hairy. Then there's the silver foxes, who are old and thin. Then there's
Somebody called me a silver fox.
Yeah, you are a silver.
You're
You are in the
getting there,
silver.
you're
Yeah.
getting there, yeah.
Okay.
I would say that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so like grey hair, but lanky.
But lanky and
Yeah.
they're mostly tops. So everybody.
What is tops?
Oh fuck, dude.
Oh, tops, of course. Okay, I got it. I understood. I understood. It took me a second.
Oh shit.
It took me a
Tops,
sec. I got it.
मसाले
I got it.
हर खाने में डाले. Jesus Christ.
That's even funnier because Gujarati में खाना is drawer.
Oh shit. I went to Gurgaon and no, I went to Lajpat Nagar and there was a shop called Bottomsy Bottoms. And I'm like, there's no way that there's no Topsy Tops around the block. And I went around the block and there was a Topsy Tops. And I was so happy.
Okay,
Shit.
so yeah, then what other category? Silver fox के बाद?
Silver Fox के बाद there's also the pups. Pups are the submissive one. The ones who
Yeah.
like have a leash around their neck and they put a face
Oh,
mask sometimes.
But that's across genders.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
the
Probably, yeah.
gay bottoms have kind of like
Right.
kind of capitalized on that. And that's pretty much the main animal circuit here.
Nice. Quite the
Yeah.
animal animal
Wow,
house.
Yeah, it's quite a bit
Yeah.
of okay.
Yeah.
Is that true for like heterosexual dating?
No,
as well?
because
It's
that
not
would be
animal-
sexism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the women do it to men, then it's not sexism, right?
Well,
I
there
mean,
are-
they
there
are-
categorize us
There are
into
very
these.
They
set
probably
ones.
do.
If you see like classic writing or whatever, if she's a conniving one, she's a vixen. You know, like we
Vixen,
say
right.
those kind of things. Or
Right.
like if he's unfaithful.
Actually, you're right, there's already cougar and there's
Yeah,
already,
cougar's
all
there.
that stuff is already there.
Cougar is there. That's about it.
There's milf.
Yes.
No, that's
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 cougar
different
only.
animal.
Yeah, it's cougar only.
Cougar auntie.
Interesting.
Yeah,
What,
cougar
what,
auntie.
remind me, what is bear?
Bear is the burly, hairy ones.
He's like a.
I'm a cub
He's
now.
a cub.
Yeah.
He
You're
used
a
to be a
cub.
bear.
No, I was a
Little
chub.
bit yeah, you are a chub. That's
Yeah.
What is chub again?
A chubby guy.
That's it. Okay,
I think
that's
that's
not
fairly
that
straightforward.
Just an
You wanna categorize everyone in the studio while we're at it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, we have Abhinit, come to the camera, please. He's a bear in making for sure.
Yeah, I can see it. I can
Come.
see
Give
it.
it a few more
Which
years.
frame are you coming in?
Which camera?
Which
This
camera?
comment?
Come
Yeah.
here,
Come
come
in all
here.
cameras.
Come sit
As
in
our
my
porn
lap.
director said, please
Don't
come
put your
in.
back to the cameras.
It's
He's
nice.
single, huh? Single this is boys. Look
Yeah.
at him.
Yeah, and
Mwah.
my favorite category, who I love to hate on,
Yeah.
is our producer. Come,
Sparsh, come.
Sparsh, when it
Not
comes,
not body type wise, just his face.
Yeah, Sparsh is what we call a twink. Okay, a twink.
What?
A twink, short for twinkle. Twinks are the thin ones, you know, with the jog straps and like,
Aakash will be a bear, right?
yeah. Akash kind of variates a lot.
Yeah,
So
because
he
when
went from an altar to a bear to a chub to a bear. Like he just this a lot.
Yeah.
The first one is altar.
Otter.
Otter.
Yeah.
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 Altar.
दिल
That's
से
very
तो
good
मैं
left.
देखो डैडी हूँ तो चलता है.
The more you know. Shit.
Oh man.
Should we take a break? No. I have a quiz story I want to quickly say because we were talking about from quiz. I just want to take off from there because what is the theme of this episode?
The through line is quizzes.
Quizzes, yeah. Because quizzes and bitches.
Oh, that's another animal name.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. All men are
Yeah.
dogs. I
All men
guess
are
so.
dogs.
Yeah, that's
Queen
also-
bee,
Huh.
all of that. So when I was in school, I would take part in two major things. Okay, elocution and quiz contest.
Right.
Loved it. Both I would love to kill it, because elocution, even though I was not so good at speech, I would write very well even as a child. So I was very happy with that. Never won anything, because in Binder there's a Binder West East dichotomy.
Right.
The East kids who are Mangaloreans or Goans are not given as much rights as the East Indian kids. So
Okay.
between the Catholics also there's an entire little
Yeah,
rift.
yeah.
It's very cute. They think it's serious,
Yeah.
whatever. Like we came first, whatever. So then I would but then quiz contest where you can't do this. You can't judge based on whatever. You have to give points to the winners, right? So 2 years, 6th and 7th standard, I won back to back. Okay, first prize quiz contest, and they would give us a
This is the general knowledge quiz.
just whatever, categories, science, history,
Oh, right.
culture, blah, blah, blah. I was very happy with winning quiz, because I had my cousin gave me the Bonvita quiz contest ka entire
Oh,
Almanac.
nice. Yeah.
So I was I would just read through it. So and I knew these dumb fucks in school were too lazy to pull out something from their own. So they would take questions from the almanac only. So
You
one question was
basically hacked the exam paper.
exactly and my Reader's Digest, right? So what digest? No, that was a book.
Yeah.
So the one question, for example, was I am in Kashmir, but I'm not made of lentils. What am I? Dal lake. This stupid questions. Okay.
Wow.
So
These are cryptic clues.
Yeah, these are
Yeah,
not
yeah.
questions.
Crossword cryptic
This
clues.
is what a Sphinx would ask.
yeah, it stuck with me because I remember reading it and immediately it came to me. I'm like, oh, this is the answer, because I
Yeah.
read it in that book. So 6th and 7th I won. 8th standard May we were in the finals. Okay, my friend Sarah and I were there, and there were 3 of us. And I remember we were 1 point away from winning. Okay, we had to win. The other team had gotten 31, for example, and we had 30. So last round they had scored their 31 points, and if we got the 2 points, 32, then we win. Okay. So and it came to Damsharad's round, essentially, where I had to take a word and without saying anything had to convey what I'm
Right.
saying.
That's not a quiz.
So listen now. I know that's not a quiz, but it was just that was
It's like that board game Cranium, where you have all categories doing you have
yeah.
a quiz
Yeah,
and an
yeah,
acting,
yeah.
you have singing, and you have
Yeah.
everything.
So I picked it up, and the word was winking. Okay, so my dumbass goes in front of my friends. Now the judges are all behind me. Okay, I'm facing my group conveniently, and I, instead of winking, I do this, and
Why?
she says blinking, and then they're like, that's correct, and everybody goes, yeah. It was the wrong answer. She said blinking when it was winking, and we all celebrated for a moment. And then one fucking teacher called it. One bitch called it, and she was
damn.
like, "What did you say?" She blinking, and I'm like, "No, look at what I'm throwing you. It's winking." And then we lost it
damn.
by
Ah.
1 point. We got second prize over
But
it.
Naveen is this is street smart quizzing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Any means necessary.
yeah.
Throw dirt in your eye.
We play. By
Is it that you didn't know what winking is at the time?
Exactly. I
You
had no
did-
idea what
you had
winking
no
was,
idea.
so I blinked,
Ah.
and she said blinking, and everybody thought it was the right answer.
Okay.
And that's what
That's
happened.
actually reminds me of some really one bad answer that in my school, those two kids ended up going on Bonvita quiz contest representing my school after
Nice.
that. But the question that they were asked was, in the comic books Phantom, what is the name of his dog? Okay,
Huh.
and the guy gave the answer. The name of the dog is Wolf,
Huh.
and the guy gave him the points also.
Huh.
And I'm like, no, it's
No,
not.
it's-
The whole
Yeah.
audience was just pusur, 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 pusur,
Yeah.
was happening.
yeah.
That's not the name of the dog. And then 2 rounds later, finally somebody gave a chit to the quizmaster and said, "Oh, we're really sorry, but we've got to go back, and the dog's name is not Wolf, it's Devil, and he just happens to be a wolf."
Yeah.
So we got confused.
yeah.
I remember this one quiz where I was I don't know why I was a judge in the quiz, but anyway.
How do you judge a quiz other than getting
No,
the answer
you're
right
just
or wrong?
there, I guess. So this is in that there's one ashram, okay? They do inter-school competition. So it's
Nice.
nice, it's very cute. Kids come and very smart kids.
Yeah.
So there was this one where it was basketball is played on what? On a court or whatever. Sorry, baseball is played on a what? And baseball is played on a diamond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And not a court. And the judges, they got it wrong. So they said, no, it's baseball is played on a court.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid, dude, I saw the kid have a moment of starting with No, but and then like he got very sad. Then he got very mad. Like he just went
Yeah,
through like
with
the
the full-
rainbow
Yeah,
of feelings.
He ran to the baseball diamond of feelings, and they couldn't touch him.
Yeah.
First base, second.
Oh,
base.
man.
He
Yeah,
went
I
through all
only
the-
learned baseball by watching all these like chimpanzee movies about baseball. Okay? They, like,
movies.
don't you see like Dunstan checks in while
Yeah,
the
yeah.
monkeys there in one of the baseball movies? Airbird has a baseball movie. Like
Yeah.
I've only learned baseball through animal movies. Well, what the fuck is that game? And the only major baseball reference I love the most is in Inglourious Bastards, when the bear Jew, again the bear Jew is called because he's a bear. He fucks that guy, no, that Aldo Rain, Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
सर पे
उसको
मारता
सुबह
है
मारता है, and then he gives like a baseball fucking commentary as he's beating his head to a pulp.
Oh, okay, right.
Like
right,
Freddy
right,
rocks
right,
it out of the Fenway fucking park and he's just like
Oh
going
my
crazy.
God.
And I love that. I love gore.
Yeah.
Baseball is such a dull sport, man.
Like
You
Aakash just
know?
told me a very gory story and I was like smiling throughout. Tell him the story.
Which one?
You have story about baseball?
The
The
Gujarat
road?
stretch.
Oh
yeah.
man, I
Yeah.
think did I already say it on the podcast? Anyway, so
No, you
I
didn't.
didn't. Of course
I would know.
So we went to
But
Gujarat.
now you have a better
okay.
audience.
Went to Gujarat. Okay, you know
Oh.
that state. This is the same trip. Like but the weekend before we met,
Yeah, right.
we drove to Jamnagar.
Yes, yeah, you told
So
me.
now what happened is the rains have lasted longer than they've had to last. Okay, and October mein usually it
Yeah,
gets
it's
hot.
still lasting.
Yeah, and then October is supposed to be October heat. Remember school mein sikhate
Uh-huh.
the. So tabhi there's no October heat because of the rain. The temperature has come down, but animal reproductive cycles are what they are. So they have the babies.
Yeah,
But now, yeah, and normally they're like in October the babies grow. It's like just after the rain. There's enough food. This weather is whatever. But now what's happened is these poor little animal babies like calves and puppies and kittens. They are cold at night. And where do you go when you're cold at night and near the highway? You go on the tarmac. Right? Because the tarmac is warmer.
Warm from all the friction of the car
Exactly.
wheels.
So there were
Holy
stretches.
wow.
And like just the massacre on the highway every day that I was driving by. At one point there was almost like a few 100-meter stretch of just blood and
My favorite word is viscera.
and dead
Yeah.
animal stuff, just remains of animals.
What did you do while you were driving? Were you trying to like avoid it and stuff?
Yeah, of course you're trying to fucking avoid it, dude. Like who wants to hit?
But
Just
just
they-
driving in the day or the night?
No, I only drove in the day. So
Hmm.
like, I mean, what you're seeing, like, but early mornings when you leave, you're seeing the
All
carnage
this
of the
stuff.
previous
Oh
night.
God, that's
Yeah.
disgusting.
And by afternoon, like you can, like it, you know what I mean? Like it becomes like caked in, like it, the
Yeah.
cars keep
Yeah,
muscling it
yeah.
into the fucking road ka this thing.
It's
you
fine.
know?
And
paste
it
off,
actually
yeah.
fills up all the
Yeah.
potholes.
And my wife wanted to listen to all horror podcasts, and I was like,
Nice,
"Bhai, ये नहीं हो सकता, dude. कैसे
I
होएगा,
love
dude?"
Shubha for that. She's just like the
Yeah.
most like let's just do something dark and fucked up.
All the time, dude.
Yeah.
All the
Can't do it.
time.
That's what
Yeah.
she does you also, no?
Ah.
On that note, let's take a small break on Varta Lab. When we come back, more quiz stories, I guess, or more gory stories. We'll find out when we come back on Varta Lab.
On what?
Varta Lab.
What?
Varta Lab.
Back.
Hello! It's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. This week we have a crossover episode of The Habit Coach and Explain Like I'm 10, where Ashton and Meghnad discuss the role of politicians and power of the citizens. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam talks to Aakash Goel and Sandeep Rao from Investment, a signal-based trading platform. They talk about how a scientific, data-driven approach can help us achieve our targets. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Karthik and Soumya Ashok, a journalist at Print India, discuss the possibilities of second urbanization after the Indus Valley civilization. On Cock and Bull, Cyrus, Ayushi and Shriram talk about the hashtag RIP Cartoon Network trend following Cartoon Network's merger with Warner Brothers. And on the Advertiser's Guide to the Galaxy, Karthik analyzes the evolution of Jaguar's lighting products. Once again, don't forget to visit our merch store on ivmpodcast.com. We have some exciting new merch out there for you. Also, do follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And do remember to spread the word about these shows and any other shows you might be listening to. Appreciate them, rate them, and review them wherever you are listening to them. You can also check out all our other shows on youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week. Volvo XC40 Recharge, Bumble, Heads Up for Tails, Kotak Privy League Program, and HDFC Mutual Fund. Thanks guys, without you this would not be possible.
Jai Mata Di, let's rock. Bajao Tali, bajao. Did you see Sushmita Sen is playing a trans woman in the movie, in a series? Like, you know Gauri Sawant?
Yes.
Yeah, Gory Sawant is a trans
Oh yeah,
person
I read that in the news.
who adopted a child after she was abandoned, and then she raised the child as her own.
Yeah.
And very powerful story. She's been on a podcast, Keep It Queer, also in
Yeah.
the past. Very very like dynamic person. Like just the vibe is so great.
Yeah.
Positive healing, whatever. Now Sushmita Sen who's a woman full on
Yeah.
playing the character, a trans woman, of course. And again, the debate has opened up majorly. Like, should cisgendered people be playing?
This is going to sound very ignorant. But isn't a trans woman just a woman?
She is, but by that definition, like her experiences are negated if a cis woman plays it. Like there was a very I'd written an article also for Vice about this where I asked like several activists, including trans people, like including Ghazal Daliwal was a writer in Bollywood right now. Like Mismatched season 1, season 2, she's the writer on that. So I asked, and she while it's okay for a cisgendered character to play a queer character, like a male or female, lesbian or gay character, a trans character is an entirely different ball game. Like in terms of their definition of life is very very different. Like they have multiple coming outs, and some people are like Gory Sawant was taken to a conversion therapist and everything. So at what point does Sushmita ever relate to that? Is what I'm saying.
But isn't it the movie's job to convey the story, as opposed to the casting call's job to convey the story?
Then when was the last time a script was good but the acting was so bad you were okay with the movie?
The script was so good, the actor was bad. So
Bad, but you didn't like. So therefore, you didn't like the movie.
Yeah,
It happens. Yeah.
it's always happening, right? That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
A bad actor can ruin a movie.
But then a bad actor need not be somebody who's a non-trans actor, right?
No, the theory is that in order to play a character, you have to understand the character, right? And therefore, how you would anger reaction by you versus me are two different reactions, right? Because of our experiences. So, to show anger in a particular way by a
I feel like
trans
that's a vague
person.
line though, because actors
It
are
is,
never
that's why it's a
cowboys.
debate.
So there's a documentary on Netflix called Disclosure,
Uh-huh.
which kind of delves into this only. Basically where for the longest time trans people have been butt of jokes. Like if you watch Ace Ventura, which is
Yeah.
one of our favorite childhood growing up movies where
Yeah.
look at Jim
yeah,
Carrey
like,
talking out of his ass
right.
or whatever. But
Yeah.
then when in the end the villain is revealed to be a trans woman or a man dressed as a woman, the whole he makes out with that character first as a woman, and then when he finds out that it's a man,
Correct.
he starts violently throwing up.
Correct.
So such is the reaction for us, for a lot of us inbuilt, that this is what
It's a comedic
okay.
tool, yeah.
Yeah. So even with Chandigarh Kare Aashiki, which came out last year, the joke is all about she's a trans woman, doesn't look like it. Niche kya saman hai? That's the kind of questions
That's a
that
joke, yeah.
evoke. And trans people are sick of it. Trust me when I tell you this.
Right.
In the research of the work I've been doing recently and having spoken to so many people, like as you said, she's a woman. At the end of it, everything she's worked towards is come to this point. So then for a woman who's had everything given to her on a platter, just play her and not understand where she's coming from is the problem.
Okay.
So what's
You
the
know
other
what I'm
option? How do you find a trans woman
There are
to play a
several
trans woman?
several trans actors in the industry
There are.
functioning right now in the south, in the north, as well as in the current industry. My friend Sushant is an actor. They are now in 2 movies coming up. Trinetra, who's also a doctor and an actor, coming up in Made in Heaven. There's actors in South, in Kerala. I don't remember their names right now, but there are several functioning actors. I had once actually lost my shit on Cyrus Says because when I said that trans actors should play trans roles, somebody said Bobby Darling, and my brain just went crazy because that's the equation of what trans people are at this point. It's never changed. It's never matured. That's what I'm saying. Just the idea that if we just give the power, women telling women stories, it makes sense because then it's for men, for a Michael Bay to shoot everybody's ass as it's an asset is easier, but for a woman to come in and shoot a Wonder Woman, it made a massive difference.
Yeah.
You remember when Justice League Snyder was shooting her from the boobs and from the ass, while Patty Jenkins took a step back and showed her as a powerful woman?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's just owning up to it. Also, what happens is in just general, a underlying statement is that it's either you're a butt of the joke or you're such a devta for being a trans person, right?
Right.
Like in Lakshmi character, right? Which was Akshay Kumar playing which is a copy or a remake of the movie Kanchana in South. And so surprising because I watched Kanchana in a salon in fucking Khar, sitting with a bunch of men, where it's dealt with more sensitively than what Akshay Kumar did. Where it's all Tandav Booth, so then everything about trans people just becomes the
that,
othering of it.
Yeah.
So when we say that this is what it should be, it's just bottom line is maybe try it, maybe let queer people tell queer people stories, right?
Yeah.
And then see how it makes a difference.
But didn't Lakshmi come out and saying that they're happy that Sushmita is playing it?
Gauri Sawant, yeah.
Sorry, Gauri.
Gauri said that, of course, because
Yeah.
in many ways, it's like her life is getting the big screen treatment, right? So she's made peace with that. I don't know how
Right.
cool it is, like, because yesterday only I was talking to a trans friend of mine, and she's very like, she's taken umbrage about it.
It's
And
baby steps, maybe.
it's
you
baby
know what
steps,
I
I
mean?
agree.
Like, it's a,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
a
as long as it's dealt with delicately. For example, when Badai Do, if you look at it,
yeah,
like same year Chandigarh Kare Ashiki came out, Badai Do came out, and Badai Do had a way more impactful
yeah,
story and good actors.
yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like when Rajkumar Rao and what's her name? Bhumi Pednekar played gay and lesbian character in A Convenience of Marriage, because it's such a
Yeah.
common thing in the community that hit the right chords with a genuine intention.
Yeah,
The intent should matter always, right? That's
Yeah.
what the whole
but they're
point is.
not gay.
They're
right?
not queer, right?
They're not
yeah.
queer.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They're straight actors playing.
Hmm.
But then that's what Ghazal said, right? It's okay for them to then take on that role, because in the gender dynamic is different than sexuality dynamic. You know, it's easier for a man to make out with a man and say that, oh, this is an Oscar-winning role or whatever.
Right.
Whereas for a man to dress up as a woman and then say, oh, look at me, I dressed up as a woman. So
Hmm.
it's happening with a lot of characters now. Like even Nawazuddin Siddiqui is playing a trans woman
Yeah.
in one movie or whatever. And it's always like, look at me, I can do dynamic roles.
Right.
But we're like, we saw you, you're a good actor, we trust you, Baba. And that's the whole argument was just that. When was the last time we went to watch Sushmita Sen as an actor?
Yeah.
Remind me that much. Does it remind me that much? What movie after
Mehuna.
Mehuna ke baad, even where she was also like fetishized as a MILF
Yeah.
teacher,
Yeah.
nowhere else has she. Arya, like season that came out as like
Yeah.
a Hotstar show that came out back as
It's
research.
supposed to be a pretty good show.
Yeah, it's supposed to be very good. But like that's what I'm saying. Like when was the last time she was the clincher for a audience to come and
Yeah,
watch it,
yeah.
right? That's what I'm saying. If it's a good actor, it'll eventually translate into that.
Yeah.
Like
But maybe,
yeah.
what do you think of maybe this is the role that Sushmita needs to prove that she can act?
Exactly what I'm
That's
saying.
also a
That's what she's
possibility.
trying to do.
That's
it's
what
very
she-
apparent.
Oh, right,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying.
And that's the
They
problem.
treat
that you
it
have,
like
that
as
they're
a
trying to,
notch in their thing. you
Yeah,
know,
it's
ki
like you know, like now after 3 years, Eddie Redmayne, who was in the Danish Girl, who
Hmm.
played a trans character, like you know, Oscar nomination and everything, has apologized samne se saying ki I took a role away from a trans actor. And now if you look at it, like even if you look at like the new Sandman show, Neil
Yeah,
Gaiman wala, right?
yeah.
The Desire character is a non-binary character.
Yeah.
And they're doing it so well because they get to fuck with gender and they get to be all like mysterious and sensual. So it just like, makes sense. So like Neil Gaiman got so much hate from fans of the comic books who have read the comics and seen that Desire was always a gender fuck character. It was never going to be a man or a woman.
Yeah.
But they are mad at the creator of the show, of the comics, saying that this is not justified. We're not watching this if we have a gender queer person on the show. So that's what I'm talking about. The hatefulness that then builds up because of this only.
Yeah.
So it's just like you have to find a middle ground.
But like
essentially.
there's base level bigot hate from everything for everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That
yeah.
too you have to ignore only.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second
What
half,
is the-
Varta
what
lab
is-
getting intense.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, suddenly we went from like
No, this
quizzes
conversation
to, like,
needs to be
I mean,
addressed
yeah,
in
culture, yeah.
general. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
I forgot. I was gonna ask something and I forgot. I did something
quizzing,
and
huh? Quizzing.
forgot. You're right. We shouldn't have given that bite too early.
Yeah. No, but like, yeah, somebody take it over. We've been talking for like a while.
No, it's just now I have a lot to think about. So now my brain is going into that space.
But you know, I like this point that you make. It's so interesting that like artists in any form are constantly trying to prove something. Like this idea that Sushmita is intentionally taking on a difficult role or a role that is not naturally hers, just to prove some sort of credentials. Kind of like it's such a common theme. Like somebody was telling me this
Like even
story about.
Madhuri playing lesbian in Majama right now. Like,
Okay,
like,
I
ho gaya
just
tera,
don't
ho gaya.
follow
It's like-
Bollywood, so I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
But-
one sent me screenshots, Urjita.
yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody told me this story that apparently there was a peak in the 80s or 80s, I think, when R.D. Burman and Kishore Kumar were just like rocking the music scene, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I thought
and
they were
it was
fucking each
just
other.
like no, they were just so like they were just at the peak of their
Yeah.
careers, and they were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like every song of theirs was a hit, and
Yeah.
R.D. came in especially with that happy song, like
Beat
lots
up,
of
butt up, beat up,
blah,
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 blah.
Yeah.
and all his
Yeah.
music compositions were very upbeat and like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
totally changed like the
Landscape.
landscape of music, right?
Yeah.
And then they started hearing things like, oh yeah, but you know, RD can't write a sad song. Oh, but Kishore can't sing a sad song. Like, Kishore's all about like yodeling and all that. Oh, no,
Yeah.
RD and Kishore can never do like a sad song. Like, let's see how they do that. Like, it's never gonna happen. It's never
Yeah.
gonna happen. And just to prove it, RD composed Chingari Koi Bhadke. Kishore Kumar sang it, and it's like one of the most freaking popular like slow songs
Booklet,
of the
songs, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just, but it's such an artist thing to say, oh, you think I can't do it? Okay, I'm gonna at least try.
Yeah.
Even if I fail, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
And I find that just so like sad. A little
No,
bit.
man. No, I disagree. It is through the meditation of the craft that you become a better version of yourself. It is through practicing something with ekdam shiddat that everything else. And it's probably a misconception that we all have. Where I'm like, for years, I was like, if I just get really good at this comedy thing, all of life's truths will be revealed to me, which they don't get. You know what I mean?
So then, what is the purpose? Then?
No, so but the pursuit of the craft is
Right.
still something that keeps, like, it's just something. It's the centerpiece for everything else to come around to.
So you're saying that it's natural for artists to do that, to try
Yeah.
and pursue something and try to
Yeah,
like, push
yeah, like-
the boundaries and stuff.
Like even
Yeah.
if you look at before the allegations, Kevin Spacey, like nobody knew about his life at all. Like he had no
Yeah.
personal life for a while, and now we understand why.
Yeah.
But back then it was like when I was reading about him or whatever, no, they were like of all the TMZ interviews or whatever, people go crashing and looking at what their lives are all about. Kevin Spacey's never maintained anything about his life outside the roles he plays.
Never maintained means
As in,
never,
like, you
never
don't-
spoken
talks
about
about
it.
You don't know
Never
who he's
talks about it.
dating, who he's fucking.
he never
or
says
like,
anything,
yeah,
yeah.
he never says anything. He's
Kept
just
it
like,
private
he's like,
life
my
private.
work is work, right? And that was like I really admired about him.
Yeah.
And now
Now you
yeah,
know
he
why.
said,
Yeah.
Even Daniel Day-Lewis, like he just comes out, does his one big movie, gets an Oscar nomination, and
Yeah.
fucks off.
But that's
But
because that's his acting style. Like he's a method actor, so
Method
he will be
actor.
in that character for 6 months before
Yeah.
the movie shooting begins.
And I
Yeah.
also
So-
feel like let's not think that people who don't want to talk about their private lives have something to hide. Basis that it's just that.
Yeah. It's just a case.
Okay,
I
can
was
you
just
stop
like,
saying that? I
Yeah.
hate it when people use the word basis like a verb. It's not a verb.
I didn't say
Basis
it's,
that. You said basis that. No, it's based on that. Okay,
No,
or
it's
it's
basis
on the
for.
basis of.
basis for. Basis
It's
for also
the
works.
basis for is fine, but
Yeah.
like
Didn't-
just,
is
I
that
get
what I
so
said?
irritated.
I'm a
when
basis
people
for a
say
band.
basis.
I said on that
like
basis
it's
only.
no, you said basis.
On the
good thing-
basis
good
of,
thing
I
we have
would
an
have said.
audio
You didn't
equipment
say.
that records everything.
Yes, we have a recording.
You know,
I think
comment
whoever's listening to
underneath.
this episode right now should go back about
We
30
live
seconds
in a
and prove.
post-fact world, guys.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves. They're
Yeah.
saying people using the word basis like it's a
Yeah.
verb. Like, you
Oh
know,
shit!
I'm
I-
gonna pick up this phone basis the
So-
phone is ringing.
No, that's not what I did.
So a lot of black people like just write words. I'm not being racist or whatever. It's just that like a lot of times it's a black people thing where they write things as it sounds. Like
Uh-huh.
so like nobody whenever they write like I should have,
Yeah,
they
I
write
should have.
I should off.
Okay, right.
SHOULDOF.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off because I know what they're saying,
Yeah.
but I don't want
But
it to be said that way.
That's how I write have fun though. I write have fun as
HAFFUN?
HAFFUN.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
learned it from Abhish Matthews. I saw him use it twice. I was like, oh my god, this is cool. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start using this.
Yeah,
And I started
I-
using this and I immediately became uncool.
Yeah.
Super duper it is. You know what I was thinking the other day when you confirmed for the podcast? I thought, here's a guy, this guy, Kunal Rao, this guy. This is a guy who aged very gracefully.
Yeah.
You know what
Oh,
I mean?
Is that a
Like,
compliment? I don't know
No, it
anymore.
is. Of all the
Yeah.
people in the scene, like,
Okay.
see, Panth has slowly started losing his mind. You can
I
tell.
think you don't know Pant well. He's always
Yeah.
been.
Yeah, never had it.
Nothing changed. Yeah.
Sahil has started dressing in night dress on stage and all. You know, you're one.
So what? So give me. What do you mean, like?
Like you're calmer. Your energy is your vibe is a lot nicer.
Oh yeah, that's
uh,
just 5 years of therapy. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like you're not as you used to be. Kind of like on a like a, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like, I
Yeah,
don't know if the
yeah, no, that's right. Actually, yeah, absolutely. I think it's
Voracious.
literally what you said, like
Yeah.
in the break, which is that, like a few minutes ago, which is that as an artist, you're constantly trying to pursue. The art form is you actually trying to discover more about yourself.
Yeah.
And as you do more, you start discovering more about yourself because you start realizing, oh, I don't. You learn more about yourself by the things that you don't want to do than the things that you want to do.
yeah.
Right? You're like, I don't want to do this because I don't want to be this guy. So
Yeah.
like, okay, that gives me direction of who I want to be. If you see some, that's one of the biggest reasons why I removed a lot of my stand-up clips from the EIC channel and from my channel, my
Yeah.
old clips from 2012, 13, 14, because that's not who I am anymore, right?
Right.
That was
Yeah.
a guy who was trying really hard to prove himself, and his mentor was Saurabh Pant, so he sounded like Saurabh Pant,
Yeah.
and then you were hanging out with Sapan and Sahil, I sounded like them,
Yeah.
and like that's not who I am. I am a much more different person, and even like I did, I'll be honest, I did have a little bit of a midlife crisis and I colored my hair black at the start of the lockdown, and then I
Wow.
was trapped with that hair because I couldn't do anything.
And then it grew out.
And I
Yeah.
grew out, and then it was like, oh my god, this is horrible. I'm never going to do that again.
Yeah.
Except
like Cruella
I
de Vil,
continued
yeah.
for 2 years. But now I'm like, no, just this is it. Whatever it is, just
Yeah.
do it. I agree on the karma bit, but I think the karma bit is definitely therapy and self introspection.
Yeah.
And, Like I just worked very hard on myself.
In the
It's just-
train, he was telling me about how genes have trauma and all, and I was like, what?
Oh yeah, that book is amazing. I
grown up and all,
recommend
like-
everybody. Generation
Yeah.
trauma.
Generational
Generational trauma.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We bring that down. So yeah, I think most of my life is trying to figure out how my grandparents screwed up.
I don't,
Same.
you know, when I was a kid and I found out all my old, like, you know, you go back in history and you find, because the thing is, one is like, it's your name is usually your name and then your dad's
Correct.
name and then your family name. So it kind of leaves out a lot of people that were integral in making you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like there are moms, then there are dadis at least, and then there are mom sides ka grandparents which are ignored.
Yeah.
But then mine was Aakash, Ashi, Chimanlal, Shantilal, Purushottam Das, Amichan, Meghji.
Wow.
Then it just like
So who are all of them?
that's my granddad's dad, granddad's father,
how many?
his father.
Up to grade.
Aakash, Asi, Chimanlal, Shantilal, Purushottam Das, Amichand, Meghji.
7 generations, including you.
Then
Wow.
no, not including me. Haan,
Yeah,
including me.
Aakash then. Yeah.
Then
Excluding you.
Ghela bhai,
Oh, wow.
ane Ganda bhai.
Wow.
So you put all of them in the middle name.
No. I'm just saying that this is how the names went, okay?
Yeah,
And then
so
it
it is
became
called-
suddenly Ghela bhai and Ganda bhai, which are both words for crazy person basically.
Yeah.
They're both Gujarati for crazy, right? Ganda, pagal aadmi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? What happened to the name? Because like you went from Ghela bhai, Ganda bhai, Amichand, you know, like sorry, Meghji, Amichand, like the names started getting good.
Okay, the names are getting good.
Turns out they had plague at that time, very heavy plague in around their areas.
Dude.
So they would name their kids names that they would think that the plague would come to the kid and be like, oh, this guy's name is Ghela. Oh, he's clearly not a good kid. Let's
Yeah.
leave him alone.
Not a good sacrifice for
Yeah.
the plague gods.
He's too dumb. So the plague will not go
so
to
it is
a
a protective thing.
yeah, like the
Oh,
plague would not
wow.
go to a child with an unattractive name. Right? Now, then in the train, this guy's telling me all this generational trauma and all. And
But
now,
it's fascinating that I think like this is why like we Indians are considered the most like racist people because we've constantly like, oh, what's his surname? Oh, so you're a this or
Yeah.
you're a that, right? Every parent has that
Yeah.
conversation with everybody they meet. But if you look at modern psychology, they say that like you get a lot of information based on who they are,
yeah.
and it sounds extremely wrong, but if it seems like it's
Yeah.
coming.
But
to
it's
be
very
true.
interesting this what you said about this whole name thing. Like this, so the other day I was near Khar Telephone Exchange and I was buying a pack of smokes. So then I was smoking one cigarette there, and this religious dressed guy came, okay, and he said, "Beta, ek cigarette do." So I said, I looked at him like I doubled back at him like,
Yeah.
you want a cigarette? And then he's like, and then he gave me this look like why, like why not?
Yeah.
So I gave him one cigarette. Then he said, अच्छा अभी मुझे 20 रुपया दो, बहुत अच्छे लड़के हो ये वो 20 रुपया दो. I said, okay, चलो 20 रुपया देता हूँ. Let's see where this goes. You know. Then he did like a little magic trick, okay. Where first he took the 20 rupees and he said, ये इसको अच्छी जगह पे रखना, तुम अच्छे हो जाओगे. Whatever you want madly, like ask for it right now. ये वो. Then ये लो अभी तुम ही रखो ये 20 रुपया. So I took it back. He's like मुट्ठी बंद करो. इसमें अपने सारे अरमान डालो. Whatever. इच्छाएं डालो. तो डाली. Then he took it back. Then he's like, अभी तुम्हारा ही है ये 20 रुपया, हम नहीं ले सकते तुमसे 20 रुपया. And then he took the 20 and gave me the रुद्राक्ष का piece. Okay. So then I took the रुद्राक्ष का piece. Then he's like, पकड़ो मुट्ठी में पकड़ो, इसको घर पे जाके गुलाब के साथ बांध देना. And then I'm like, अच्छा ठीक है. And then suddenly I don't know what came over him. And then he's like, ना पूरा नाम बताओ. So I was like, आकाश. नहीं पूरा नाम बताओ. तो सर नहीं क्या जरूरत है आकाश. And he had this look of like अच्छा ठीक है गोत्रा बताओ. And I was like, oh, did you realize midway that I might be lower caste?
Yeah.
That's what happened, right?
Yeah.
He needed to know my caste before he could go ahead further.
Yeah.
What did he do next? First, you tell me.
Then
I'll
he
tell you whether that's
wouldn't
true or
go
not.
further until I told him my last name.
Yeah, what did he do further after that?
So nothing. He said नाम बताओ वरना आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे.
हाँ तो क्या किया
तो
फिर
मैं
उसने?
बताया उसको नाम. जैसे ही नाम बताया, I said मेरे को
No,
गोत्रा.
did you give the gotra?
I don't know my gotra, man.
know your
I know. I found out since what my gotra is, but I think it's very useless information to share.
Yeah.
So then I said कि this is I'm Mehta. He's like अच्छा Mehta. And then he's like Sikh तो नहीं हो. And I'm like, do I look Sikh to you, bro? Like what?
Well, right now a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
And then he was like अच्छा चलो caste अच्छा ही होगा. And then he did.
Oh,
finish
you
the
think
thing.
that? Okay. If he said that, caste acha hi ho, caste
No,
acha hi ho,
matlab,
then
but
yeah.
he was basically asking me questions about what caste I am from, right? Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a very Pujari thing. It's basically you're reaching the source of your generational creation, right? Then so instead of dealing with all the trauma that happened in the middle,
yeah.
so the premise is that you go to the try as much as possible to connect to the source of your basically your father's father blah, 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 like 100 times back, right? And that's where you're supposed to receive your blessings because that's the source source code basically.
Yeah.
But I it's possible that he was just like a baba on the
Dude.
streets who's trying to be
And then at the end he said, "अच्छा अब चलो 250 रुपया तो घी लेना है." I said, "चलो भाई अभी बहुत हो गया."
yeah, bhi zyada ho
Yeah.
gaya.
And then he lit the
Yagna
cigarette and
karna
walked
hai.
away.
But have you ever met people who are like just really like like my mom does this thing like my dad looks at somebody and guesses
Where they are from.
where they're from or what type
I do
of
that all the time with my wife. We sit in restaurants and go, "ये लोग
No, no,
spy
but-
है, ये
yeah,
लोग."
but no
नहीं,
but
ये लोग मारवाड़ी है, ये लोग बंगाली
yeah,
है.
नहीं,
Marwadi hai,
that's
ye
what-
wala.
That's
Like my mom-
Marwadi Bengali is a game you can play in Kolkata. Like that's legit
that's a
something
legit
you
game.
can do.
That's a legit
Bombay
game.
is an open ground. essentially,
No,
because
but like
everybody lives
I
here.
told my mom like I was talking that I met this friend of mine. She's like, who do you meet? I met this friend of mine, and she's like, oh, what's her name? I said Lakshmi, and then I was like, Lakshmi what? Krishnan. And then for the next 3 minutes, my mom went on to describe her, having never met her.
Wow.
She's like, oh, she must be short. I was like, yeah. She must be slightly like chubby. I was like, yeah. She's got curly hair. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
She has big teeth. Yeah. I was like, how do you know this?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, 'cause she's a Krishnan. I was like, what?
But
Yeah.
and you know there's a book about the genetic history of India where they talk about this, okay? Where India used to be nice genetic diversity wise until
Yeah.
the caste system, and then you just start seeing this like homogenization of a different genetic strains happening because you have to marry within your caste,
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So hundreds of years of casteism means that you marry in your own this thing.
So what was there before casteism?
Before casteism, there was much more genetic diversity amongst people. Right? Because you are not bound to a certain group of people that you have to marry. So the idea of you marrying somebody far away, different from you, was higher. Now, if you have to marry within the same this thing,
But is that what this? You said
that,
it's a
that's what the
you
book said. Yeah,
What's the book?
I'll have to
Okay.
find the name. I heard it on one of
It's
the
fascinating.
IVM Network podcasts only.
You're a podcast guy, dude. That's what it is.
I can't read all the time.
98% of.
I'm
your
an
information.
oral learner.
I'm a visual.
Yeah, I'll need to listen to things to learn them.
Isn't this anal? Sorry. No. Ola factory.
Oral.
Oral, correct.
Oral
Oral
factory is smell.
Yeah, I thought it was the factory Ola was.
No, olfactory, not
Olfactory.
oral factory.
Who said oral factory?
He said oral.
He's an oral
I said
factory.
Ola factory.
Auditory. Auditory is the word you're looking for.
Yeah,
You're an auditory learner.
Oral.
Oral is
speaking.
more sound, sonorous.
ORAL is oral.
We know that much.
AURAL is oral.
Oh, no, it's not. I don't think that's a word. I think it's auditory.
Oh fuck! I have one more quiz story.
Has to be a.
I just remembered something.
Let's pivot.
Because we're doing spellings right now.
Because
This
we're
is-
just saying oral way too
Guys,
often on
oral
this
is a word.
podcast.
Don't fuck with
Yeah,
me.
but-
Don't
but-
fuck with
Define.
me.
Read the definition.
Related to the ear or the sense of hearing.
Okay.
But I thought always it was more like sound and like.
Yeah,
gen-
auditory. AUD.
I learnt oral as a word from my therapist only.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was discussing all the things that make me anxious, and she made me make a list, and there were like 35 things, and she's like, all of these are oral. And I was like, what?
Oh, that's damn interesting. You're
Oral.
highly
Yeah.
sensitive. Oral.
Highly
So
sensitive to
your
hearing.
positives and your negatives are oral.
Yeah. Like when we went to
That's
Umargam that
damn
trip, and the
interesting.
music was being played by Abhi a lot.
Ugh, yeah.
That was like for me it was a very anxious experience because the music, I can't ignore sounds. I can ignore visually, smell, taste, everything.
This is damn interesting because like Sejal was telling me like we were at karaoke night and she's like I can't do. She was trying to sing a rap song, and then and she's like the lyrics are coming on the screen and she's just singing and she's like obviously fucking up.
Catching up, yeah.
And then I was like, what happened? She's like, it's just too many words. I'm dyslexic, and it's like it just like stresses me out, and I can't read that fast.
Right.
That's so. I don't have a problem with the song. I can rap it if you don't show me the lyrics. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And then she was like, and I was telling her that I'm the opposite. Like, like for me, sound disturbs me a lot. Like if there's like high pitched or construction next door on my
Yeah.
this thing, I'm in a bad mood by the end of the day. I don't know why.
Same.
Because somewhere in the back there's some gar going on, and I don't
Yeah.
know what's happening.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, that's interesting because I'm the opposite. Like if I'm this is so funny. She said if I'm on stage and there's somebody in a leopard print in the front row, that's it. I can't do the set. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I'm just completely like a visual distraction will just throw me off. Even a leopard print top is just going to be. I'll just start fumbling and missing because my eyes are just constantly going.
Don't you get tunnel vision? Like I to get tunnel vision on stage. Like I'm barely like I'm looking, but I'm not really seeing anything.
No, I'm very present with all my this thing. But I'm just saying what Sajal's story is so funny.
Yeah.
Like this is a whole
Leopard
bit by
print.
itself, right?
Yeah, it's like leopard. She can't perform in Jersey then.
Okay, we're almost at the
Anyway,
end out of
I have
time,
to
so I
say
feel like
one last thing I have to say, because like this was a major vine that everybody like used to make fun of also, because this Indian kid called, I think Jay, I think his name was, he said this erodicolitis word. Remember? IRODI, like erodicolitis, and it was just like it became a vine, this 6-second vine. Like if you just go home and Google it, just Google erodicolitis kid and you'll find him. And it was just like a 6-second vine of him just saying erodicolitis, like in a very funny manner, in an Indian American accent, and people made fun of him. Okay, but there was an entire deep dive into what happened to this kid after this spelling bee competition, because he lost that one.
Oh, it's
Okay,
a spelling
it's a
bee.
spelling bee
I wish
competition.
you started with that. I was like, what is this
And it just said,
random word?
based on your oral thing you were saying, I was like,
Okay, so then
No, I like the reveal. It's nice. It's a climax.
so apparently like this kid was like a genius spelling bee contestant, okay? Like, and in spelling bee contest there's like 13 and below, that category you have to win, and he had won many categories, so he was like a front runner when he went to that competition. And then when he lost, it was kind of embarrassing because he had won so much and everybody was very proud of him. But then he went back to his hometown, which is some bumfuck part of America, like where nothing happened. But they're an Indian family, okay? Very Indian family. Parents are first generation. This guy was born in America only. But when he went back, he got like the hero's welcome of like the highest order, where everybody was like, we're so proud of you.
Okay.
And because like he's got a little bit of like a deformity also, like looking wise. So people would make fun of him all the time. So his only escape was doing spelling bees and winning them. So when he came back, like everybody, like white people, and like they're all like, Jay, we love you. And it was all so cute. And that kid fucking broke down, okay? And it was such a heartwarming moment. It was like nothing matters. I didn't win the competition, but like these people, the way they welcome me back,
like
it was
an
great.
Indian Idol finalist.
Yeah, but like in a real life scenario.
Yeah.
So they were just they were supporting him because he went viral.
No, the virality came like when
After.
the wine thing came. The spelling bee
That
was
was after.
done. It was
Yeah.
televised and
Oh,
gone.
okay.
Yeah.
Some asshole recorded that video on the TV and put it out as a vine, right?
Yeah.
I can't call him asshole because we enjoyed the vines when it was there. You know, but then like the reason he got infamous for was the
Right.
looking that he was looking weird or whatever.
Oh,
But
I didn't
in his
know
own hometown, he's a little hero. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
a little bit of like a nice
Aw.
thing to it. Yeah,
That's so nice of them.
yeah.
It's like that one time they Make-A-Wish people pretended that the kid was Batman for a
Yeah.
day. Remember that?
Yeah. When he
haven't seen this.
walked the marathon.
Yeah.
Correct.
He walked the marathon. Oh, okay.
As in like he
He
was
was a-
he was in cancer, like a
He was a
kid.
Make-A-Wish
Make-A-Wish
Foundation kid.
Yeah.
So like he
Wow.
wanted to like feel the feeling of being Batman. So they like got him to dress up, and then the marathon they all did like a special thing for
Opening
him.
for him, like
Yeah.
you know, everybody welcomed him, and
Yeah.
from both sides people are cheering, and this
That's
kid is
nice.
walking as Batman. Yeah,
That's fucking super, dude.
Yeah.
That's the kind of send off. I think that's what crows do. Have you ever seen a crow funeral?
Yeah.
Like a crow you've seen a crow funeral?
They all
right?
No, I
gather around. Yeah.
What? Like one crow is sick in the middle, it's dying, and then all the crows just like swarm around it and
I
all
feel like
caw
I've
at the same
read
time.
about it in 7th standard.
Okay,
when we
and
would
then
learn
the-
about a murder of crows.
Yeah, and then a crow comes and picks out the eyes or some shit of the dying crow or
That's
the
why they
dead
called
crow.
a murder.
A murder
Is
of
that why
crows.
they call a murder?
Yeah, because a
don't
group
know.
of crows is a murder.
Oh. But I think that's the same thing. That's all of them going, hey, Mangesh! Mangesh, tu mast tha, Mangesh! And Mangesh is just dying there and looking at all the people he loves
But
around
why
him,
does
you
he
know.
take out his eyes?
Once
Are you
he's
sure
dead.
this is fact?
I don't know about the eyes part, but I know that...
Because now he's not
Post-factual.
Nainesh. Jesus
Okay, on that note, I think we should...
Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Krao, for coming
My
on the
pleasure.
episode.
I think I did okay with the storytelling, right?
Yo, you did
Amazing,
great,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And what an
man.
informative
Pleasure.
episode with
Yeah.
modern day debates and old school stories.
Yeah.
Everything is there in this.
Yeah, it was fun.
The
I like
only
this.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, you should call me more often, you know. I should get some more invitations.
That's not
I
how
think-
this
I
works.
think
Okay, bye.
Stay in your lane.
follow Kunal Rao as Krao. I think, is it Krao?
No, it's Kunal Rao everywhere.
Oh shit, sorry.
Everywhere. It's Kunal Rao
It's
at
just Krao in our
everything.
hearts and minds.
He's a crow in our hearts and crow in our depths.
Kunal Rao on the Instagram. That's Navin is House of Neurona. I'm Kuch Bhi Mehta. And follow us on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe now.
Yeah,
We
we do
want a-
premieres every Saturday 12 p.m. Tell your friends, make
Yeah.
a watch party.
Yeah.
We deserve this, man.
We deserve this.
Yeah, we bring
And-
fresh stories every
And
week
if you
for
feel like, please, this week we can definitely do with a painting. I don't know if you all know about the Van Gogh painting getting vandalized with soup, but I would love a Van Gogh having soup painting. If you can figure that out.
Or even
Van Gogh.
crows murdering each other.
Crows murdering each other. Every time some animal painting we are asking for.
That's okay.
Didn't somebody vandalize the Mona Lisa as well?
No.
Yeah, Mona Lisa
Yeah.
got vandalized. Yeah,
With what?
yeah.
Somebody
A
threw
while
something on
ago.
it or
Yeah, they
something
threw a
like that.
cake on the Mona
Cake,
Lisa.
that's
Fuckers.
right, cake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fuckers.
I mean, it's
that
fine.
it doesn't
He was just
solve
trying to feed
anything.
her.
Doesn't do anything. Yeah.
Just trying to feed.
Yeah. Hey, Mona, cake ka. Like, that's Marie Antoinette.
But I'm down.